Super Chris has a question. What are your thoughts on Canary Islands? Possibly it's an to the U.S., Europe, Italy. What about the large volcano in Italy? Thank you. I think those things are highly volatile. I think that the Pacific right now and the Atlantic Ocean, they're volatile, extremely volatile. I also believe that the Lord is sending us these signals once again, and I hope we pay attention to it, because all too often humanity misses the signals. For example, this blood moon, right? The blood moon that just kind of faded, it's going to fade out of everybody's memory. You know what? I went back and looked up all the blood moons, the corresponding actions, even some of the dates, the day intervals are surprising. The Lord will always warn us. And based upon certain signs that he sets up the celestial heavens for, so is the magnitude of the happening on the earth. Because we are volatile. I know we're going to be dealing with a volcanic ash type atmosphere and environment soon enough. In other words, hear me out, Chris. We have a potential issue in America right now. Just America. 125 active volcanoes. 161 are soon to be active. Out of that number, we're going to have about 60 to 70 surprises within the next 6 months in the USA. And we're by no means ready for that. We're not. See, the populace is not going to counteract anything until they see proof. Unfortunately, with a volcano, when you see proof, it's too late. Too late. It's going to be too late. If I were you, trust the Lord's word. Trust the guidance of the Lord. This is why I'm so incredibly critical of myself when it comes to dreams and spiritual insights, because I want no one steered in the wrong direction, right? For example, I said something some years back, and I should have said it earlier, because it takes about 10 years to prepare for something like that. But when an event begins to happen, then they're going to be in trouble on the East Coast. In the West Coast, I will, the Lord has me gauging the West Coast by something that's not affiliated with the West Coast. But later on, I found out is in fact a key to it. And so it's already going into high gear, which makes me nervous. Those places are highly volatile. And with the coming impacts hitting the waters and hitting land masses in several areas, that's just going to make it worse. And we're going to have to get used to that those type conditions. Because once it begins, it's going to be back-to-back troubles. Well, let's find another one here. Yeah, 37 says, even if you publish a map of all the trouble spots, people won't move. No, they won't. No, they won't. See, unfortunately, people don't believe anything until it happens. That's just like this week. This week, some folks are going to see damages. To talk about what will actually happen is futile. It's futile. So people are not going to really hear. Over time, you got to be careful of something, though. Over time, right before the real heavy stuff comes, what I mean by that is, imagine half the U.S. on fire, lit up from lots of incursions, and imagine half the sea is poisoned by summertime. Even that won't be enough to get people to really pay attention, right? So one day they're going to wake up. I already know this, so I know people are going to wake up. They're going to come to a bad realization at a very bad time. They're going to say, what do I do? So there's an ongoing challenge I have for myself. I have to make sure that I'm, with integrity, prepare things for those who won't prepare things for themselves, right? You have to be somewhat like a Noah during these times. do the responsible thing for other people right now, which means they know nothing about it, but provision is set up for them because they won't do it themselves. A lot of people here, you may hear this conversation, but you won't retain it. You won't retain all of it. But then after the event takes place, you'll recall it, right? But at least you can say that somebody in the body of Christ knew these things were coming, right? You can say that. We have a lot coming, and believe me, in comparison to any stringent happenings on the earth, mankind has seen nothing yet. Remember what the Lord said, right? Now, the flood was bad. It killed a lot. But the time coming, the flood can never compare to. In times past, when big meteorites hit the earth and large animal die-offs took place, the time coming is much worse than that. Jesus was very specific. Concerning the nature of the times to come, he said there was no other time like it since the earth was to the very day. Concerning some of the armies that are going to be upon the earth, he said there was no army like it before it or will be after it. And that's a heavy statement. Concerning the troubles that will be upon the earth, he said no one has seen trouble like that since the earth was to that very day or will after. So we know that the time we live in, things of magnitude will happen off the scales. It is not comparable to anything anybody has ever gone through. Not even those who went through the flood in the times of Noah. He said since the earth was created, so the dinosaur die-offs and everything else, they do not compare to what we're about to go through. Mike, what type mask would you recommend? In 2 months, due to some federal programs, they're going to have awareness on ash, right? Right before December, in the month of December will be the best time to pick up a mask for volcanic ash. Volcanic ash, there are several types of it, but most of it is a crystalline substance, which is actually glass. It's like fiberglass. You don't want to inhale that stuff. Animals that inhale that stuff, it's going to go into the bloodstream, go straight to the bones and deform them. All right? It'll kill off the plant life foliage and everything else. It'll poison the waters also because they're highly toxic, right? The ash is highly toxic. Also, those in low-lying valleys, if the magma does not get them, then the carbon will. They let off so much carbon that one volcano going off in parts of the ocean could kill 3/4 of the earth in one night, likely, right? So, those days are coming. They're coming.